All right, let's unpack this. We're taking a deep dive today into how artificial intelligence is, well, fundamentally reshaping the online business landscape. Think about two major forces acting at once. AI making online shopping feel incredibly personal, and AI completely changing how people discover information online.
It's a dual transformation.
Yeah.
On one side, you've got AI tailoring the experience to you, making recommendations, showing you stuff it thinks you'll love.
Yeah.
And on the other, it's changing the very mechanics of finding things online, moving beyond just, lists of links.
Exactly. And to guide us through this, we've pulled together, well, quite a stack of sources, everything from expert articles laying out current trends in personalization to a foundational research paper that really digs into the future of online discoverability in this new AI world.
Yeah, that paper's interesting. Our mission today really is simple. We want to equip you with the most important insights from all this material. We'll help you understand the power of AI personalization that's impacting e-commerce right now, today, and just as crucially, help you prepare for what's coming next with discoverability in AI-driven search.
Okay, let's jump straight into that first big theme from the sources. The incredible and increasingly essential power of AI personalization in e-commerce. So when we talk about AI personalization in shopping, what are we actually talking about?
Well, at its core, it's using artificial intelligence to make the online shopping experience feel uniquely tailored just for you.
Okay.
Imagine a website or an app that isn't static, right? It learns about you and adapts dynamically based on your behavior, what you've bought before, your preferences, even things like your location or the time of day. The goal is for it to feel less like browsing some generic store and more like walking into a shop where the owner knows your name and knows exactly what you might be interested in. It's that hand-picked feeling, but, done at scale.
That hand-picked feeling is key, I think. So how does the AI actually manage that? What's happening, like, under the hood?
It all starts with data. Lots of data. The system collects and integrates information, your browsing history on their site. Obviously, past purchases, demographic info if you've provided it.
Right.
And it brings together both the data the business collects directly about you, that's first-party data, and sometimes external third-party data too. Then the AI uses machine learning models, natural language processing to understand maybe what you type into search or chatbots, and even generative AI now, to analyze all of this data.
Okay.
It finds patterns, it segments users, builds profiles, and based on that analysis, it can instantly and dynamically change the content you see on the homepage, recommend specific products it predicts you'll like, or maybe present offers that are most relevant to you right now.
So it's constantly learning and adjusting based on my specific interaction with the site or app. This sounds really powerful for the customer, definitely, but why does this level of personalization matter so much for the businesses themselves? What's the payoff?
This is where the sources really line up. The main insight is that AI personalization isn't just like a nice customer perk. It's a fundamental driver of business results.
Okay.
Firstly, it keeps customers engaged. One article points out that 88% of marketers using AI credit specifically with helping them personalize that customer journey. And that engagement, well, it translates directly to people sticking around longer.
And sticking around longer means better business outcomes, presumably.
Absolutely. Companies that are leaders in delivering personalization grow about 2.5 times faster than those that lag behind.
Wow, 2.5 times.
Yeah. And for newer businesses, the impact can be even more dramatic. The sources mention startups specifically using AI personalization report 1.7 times higher revenue growth and can slash their customer acquisition costs, TAC, by up to 50%.
50%, half the cost to get a customer.
Exactly. Half the cost just by making the experience more relevant from the get-go.
Wow, okay. That's a massive efficiency game right there. What other specific, tangible outcomes are businesses seeing according to these sources? Are there hard numbers?
Oh yeah, we're talking real numbers. Some examples show up to 40% higher customer engagement rates.
40% higher engagement.
Revenue boosts around 35% from things like personalized recommendations or targeted offers, and even up to a 30% decrease in customer churn rates because, people feel more understood and catered to.
So they stick around?
They stick around. And beyond just revenue and retention, AI automation within personalization saves time and money. Chatbots alone are projected to save businesses something like $80 billion annually by 2025 in customer contact centers.
$80 billion. That's staggering.
It is. AI can also cut order processing times by 30% and has been shown to improve overall customer satisfaction by about 20%.
So the core insight here seems to be that AI personalization isn't just a trend or a nice-to-have feature. The research and examples in the sources prove there's a clear, significant, and measurable financial return on investment.
Precisely. Take email marketing, still a cornerstone of e-commerce, right? It sees a remarkable $36 return for every dollar spent when personalization is applied effectively.
$36 back for every dollar in.
Yep. And companies really leveraging these advanced personalization techniques can see up to a 30% increase in overall revenue. Plus, there's a sort of bonus. Every personalized interaction provides more data, leading to a deeper understanding of the customer over time. It creates this positive feedback loop.
Let's make this a bit more concrete with some real-world examples. Where are we seeing AI personalization truly shine across different industries? E-commerce seems obvious.
E-commerce and retail are definitely the most obvious places, yeah. Amazon's the classic example, isn't it? Those hyper-personalized product recommendations, the dynamic home pages, the frequently bought-together prompts, that's all AI driving massive sales.
Right, everyone's seen those.
Stitch Fix is another fascinating one. They actually combine AI algorithms with human stylists. This hybrid approach, the sources say, had led to 75% higher customer satisfaction and a 40% jump in repeat purchases.
That blend of human and AI. Interesting.
Yeah, and apparently makes their inventory management way more efficient, too. Sephora uses AI for beauty recommendations and those virtual try-on features,
Oh yeah, the virtual try-ons.
which contribute significantly to their e-commerce success. Walmart's another big player using virtual try-on and AI for things like predicting when to restock items.
Okay, so retail is clear, but it's definitely not limited to just buying physical products though, right?
Oh, not at all. In the SaaS world, software as a service, AI chatbots are, well, revolutionizing customer support. We see examples like DirectIQ significantly reducing their support ticket volume.
Fewer tickets for humans to handle.
Exactly. Podium apparently tripled their support team's productivity by having AI offload the routine question. ClassPass improved their chat deflection rate 10 times, meaning way more users get help instantly without ever needing a human agent.
10 times. That's huge for efficiency.
It is. And AI chatbots alone are expected to save businesses over $11 billion annually by 2025 just through reduced support costs and faster resolutions.
And what about in areas like health and wellness? That feels like a space where personalization could be particularly sensitive, but also really useful.
It is, absolutely. Ep.5 Perfect Wellness is a great example cited. They use predictive analytics to tailor health and wellness recommendations to individual users. After implementing this, they saw a 40% increase in orders year over year.
40% increase from tailored advice.
Yeah, and they found that 75% of their users now actually prefer healthcare providers that offer these personalized experiences.
Any other interesting industry examples that popped out from the sources?
Financial services use it widely. Think Credit Karma sending real-time personalized account alerts based on your financial profile.
Right, tailored alerts.
Media companies like Curio tailoring newsletter content to individual subscriber interests. In travel, Airbnb suggests relevant insurance options for upcoming trips right when it's most relevant to you, just before you travel.
Good timing.
Agencies like Flowium personalize invitations to events like live streams based on attendee interests. And then across the board, you see it in specific marketing tactics. Personalized welcome emails like those from Rosy Soil, promotional emails with dynamic elements like countdown timers from Bulk.
Oh, I've seen those timers.
Right. Re-engagement emails like Gigantic's targeted win-back campaigns, and personalized newsletters from platforms like WellHub. Even dynamic pricing, powered by AI, adjusting prices in real time based on demand or user profile that can boost profitability by up to 22%. According to some sources.
So the power and the proven benefits are clear across the board. But let's talk about a major concern that naturally comes up with collecting all this data for personalization: privacy. People seem to want personalized experiences, but they're also, understandably, increasingly worried about how their data is being used. How do businesses navigate that tension?
This is perhaps the biggest tightrope walk highlighted in the sources. It's a real paradox. While about 80% of consumers say they prefer personalized shopping experiences,
80% want it.
a significant 91% worry about their privacy. That's a huge gap, a real disconnect.
And regulations are only increasing around data privacy, aren't they? GDPR, CCPA.
Exactly. Laws like GDPR in Europe and CCPAC PRR in California are putting stricter requirements on businesses. They demand transparency about data collection and usage, requiring clear consent, easy opt-out options, the use of privacy-preserving technologies, and limiting data collection only to what is strictly necessary data minimization.
It really seems like prioritizing privacy isn't just about jumping through legal hoops. It's fundamentally about building trust with the customer, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's a business imperative now for building loyalty. As one expert article puts it very clearly, and I think this sums it up, tell people what you are doing with their personal data, and then
Yeah.
do only what you told them you would do.
Simple, but powerful.
It is. Adhering to that simple principle solves most serious data privacy issues. And the sources strongly suggest the benefits of investing in privacy measures actually outweigh the costs. 96% of organizations report this.
Really, 96% see a positive return on privacy investment.
Yeah. Compliance also involves practical things like mapping data flows within the company, conducting regular privacy impact assessments, especially when you're using potentially high-risk AI, embedding data minimization principles from the start, providing clear notifications, training employees thoroughly,
All right.
and often using automated tools for managing consent and data subject requests like delete my data requests, which the sources note have increased significantly between 2021 and 2023. So consumer awareness is definitely growing.
Given all this complexity, the tech, the data, the privacy, what are the main challenges businesses face when trying to implement AI personalization effectively? And what do the sources suggest as solutions?
Well, the key challenges mentioned are ensuring you have high-quality data because, garbage in, garbage out, bad data leads to bad personalization.
Right, makes sense.
Integrating the necessary technology platforms, which can be complex, navigating that tricky landscape of privacy and compliance, especially if you operate globally, resource constraints, particularly for smaller businesses, and a big one looming on the horizon, the upcoming cookieless future.
The cookieless future. Right, meaning third-party cookies disappearing. How does that specifically impact personalization efforts?
It's a major technical hurdle because third-party cookies have historically been a primary source of data used for understanding user behavior across different websites.
Tracking you around the web.
Essentially, yeah. When those disappear, businesses lose a key way to track and target users they don't have a direct relationship with on their own site. This forces a much stronger reliance on the data they collect themselves, that first-party data we mentioned, or understanding the context of the page a user is on, rather than tracking their individual journey across the web.
So how do businesses tackle these challenges? Data quality, integration, privacy, the cookieless shift.
The solutions generally involve investing in robust data management systems to ensure data quality and integration, choosing scalable technology platforms that can actually work together, adopting privacy-first practices right from the design stage of any AI system.
Privacy by design.
Exactly. Leveraging AI automation itself to overcome resource limits, think AI helping you manage marketing tasks, for example, and actively adapting strategies for the cookieless world by doubling down on collecting valuable first-party data and using contextual targeting. An agile approach is also key. Start small, maybe automate some basic tasks, test, learn, and then expand. Companies like Spotify and IBM have apparently seen significant efficiency gains by applying AI to tasks like campaign development.
And measuring the ROI on all this investment, it sounds like it's probably more nuanced than just tracking a single number, right?
It definitely is more nuanced. With AI software spending projected to reach nearly $300 billion by 2027, understanding the return is absolutely vital.
Wow, 300 billion.
Yeah. Businesses have seen costs cut by up to 40% through automation in some cases. AI demonstrably helps startups secure more funding and helps companies grow faster, as we saw. But measuring ROI isn't just a one-time calculation of initial savings. It's about the value that compounds over time through increased customer lifetime value, efficiency gains across the board, and even mitigating risk by staying compliant with privacy laws.
Okay.
And yeah, you need to look at the softer benefits too, like improved brand reputation and maybe even employee morale when AI handles the tedious tasks.
Okay, so AI personalization is powerful, it's proven, and it's pretty essential for e-commerce today. But let's shift gears now to that second major force from the sources, how AI is fundamentally changing search and how people find information online. This is where this concept of Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO, comes into play.
Right, and this shift is being driven by generative AI itself. Think about the search results page today compared to just a few years ago.
Very different.
Very different. Instead of just getting that list of 10 blue links, you're increasingly seeing these AI-powered overviews, what some are calling generative engines, or GEs, that basically answer your query directly on the page, synthesizing information from multiple sources into a single summary.
I've definitely noticed those AI overviews appearing much more often now. What does that actually mean for those traditional blue links further down?
Well, it pushes them further down the page, often below the initial scroll, below the fold. So if your content relies solely on ranking high in those traditional organic listings to get clicked,
Which most websites do.
which most do,
Okay.
it becomes significantly less visible because the user might get their answer directly from the AI summary and just never feel the need to scroll down and click through to your page.
And user behavior is already adapting to this, isn't it? People are getting used to asking AI directly.
Absolutely. People are getting much more comfortable asking AI assistants for direct answers, phrasing queries in natural language like they're talking to someone, and expecting a synthesized response rather than wanting to click through multiple links to piece the answer together themselves. Millions are already using tools like ChatGPT, Bing Chat, Perplexity.ai, and others specifically for tasks that look a lot like searching for information.
And the projected impact on traditional search volume sounds, well, pretty dramatic based on the sources.
It really is. Gartner predicts traditional search engine volume could drop by 25% by 2026.
A quarter of traditional search gone.
Potentially.
Yeah.
And some sources even suggest that for businesses heavily reliant on traditional organic search traffic, the traffic could potentially decrease by more than 50%.
Wow, more than half.
Yeah, that is a seismic shift. It absolutely requires a new strategy for online visibility.
Okay, so let's nail down this term. Generative engines. What exactly are they and sort of how do they work?
So, generative engines, or GEs, are systems that combine the capabilities of traditional search engines. Crawling the web, indexing information with powerful generative AI models like large language models or LLMs.
Right.
Their goal is to retrieve relevant information from potentially many different sources, synthesize it all, and then generate a conversational, coherent, and often multimodal response, meaning it might include text, but also images, maybe video clips, other media.
Okay.
And crucially, these responses are ideally grounded in the original sources they pull from, providing inline citations or links back to where the information originated.
And that grounding with citations is essential because, as we know, LLMs can sometimes just make things up, right? Hallucinate.
Precisely. Citations are critical for verifying the information and adding credibility. The basic workflow generally involves you asking a question, the system potentially reformulating that query behind the scenes to better search its index, retrieving potential sources, then a summarization process where the AI extracts key information, leading to the final response generation with those, hopefully, all-important inline citations back to the source material.
Okay, so the game is fundamentally changing. Search is delivering answers directly, pushing down traditional links. This leads us straight to the need for this Generative Engine Optimization, GEO. Why do we need a whole new framework beyond traditional SEO? Isn't good SEO enough?
Well, traditional SEO was built for a different world, optimizing a single page to rank high in a linear list of links, hoping to get the click.
Right, the 10 blue links model.
Exactly. Generative engines operate differently. They provide structured, often integrated answers, potentially pulling snippets and ideas from various sources simultaneously, with citations embedded within that answer. So getting your content seen and used in that AI-generated answer requires a fundamentally different strategic approach than just trying to rank number one on a page the user might not even scroll down to see.
And that new approach is what we're calling GEO.
Exactly. Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO, is the new paradigm. It's focused on optimizing your content not just to rank high, but to increase its chances of being cited and used within those AI-generated search results. The objective shifts from get the click to get included in the answer.
Make it included in the answer.
Yeah. It's the new battleground for online visibility and absolutely essential for businesses to protect their online presence and, frankly, their bottom line as user behavior shifts away from relying solely on clicking those traditional blue links.
Okay, let's break down the differences then. GEO versus traditional SEO. Are there similarities or is it a complete overhaul?
Oh, there are definitely similarities. Both still fundamentally aim for content visibility, right? Reaching the right audience with relevant information. Core principles like having a smart keyword strategy, although keywords function a bit differently in GEO, prioritizing high-quality, credible content. That's still vital, especially EEAT.
Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness.
Exactly. And EEAT is arguably even more critical for GEO because these AI models are actively being designed to identify and prioritize signals of credibility to avoid generating inaccurate or harmful responses. valuing user experience, requiring continuous adaptation as the platforms change. These apply to both SEO and GEO.
Okay, so the foundation of quality and credibility is still vital, maybe even more so. What are the key differences then in how we approach optimization?
The biggest difference is the goal. Like we said, SEO aims to get your page to rank high for clicks. GEO aims to have your content, or key pieces of information from your content, embedded or cited directly within the AI's synthesized answer on the result page.
So not just ranking, but being part of the answer.
Exactly. Instead of your page ranking number one, you want your information to be a source the AI pulls from and attributes.
And the way the content is used differs fundamentally as well, you said.
Yes. SEO optimizes individual pages to rank well for specific keywords or topics. GEO optimizes content for integration and the synthesizability. AI might pull relevant sentences, facts, or data points from multiple pages, potentially even across different websites, to construct a single cohesive answer for the user.
Right.
So your content needs to be clear, structured, and comprehensive enough on specific points so that AI can easily understand and integrate those pieces. This means GEO emphasizes things like contextual relevance, completeness, depth on subtopics, and providing direct factual answers in an easily parsable format, much more so than traditional SEO tactics like focusing purely on keyword density.
User intent has always been crucial in SEO, but how does AI change how we think about intent for GEO? Is it just about answering questions?
It's more nuanced. AI models are far more sophisticated at interpreting the intent behind natural language conversational queries. The way people actually talk or type questions. GEO requires anticipating these more complex, multifaceted questions. And AI might even rephrase or expand on the user's initial query to pull in related concepts. So your content needs to be flexible and rich enough to satisfy those deeper or slightly different intents the AI might infer.
And the citation piece we talked about, that's a completely new objective for optimization, isn't it?
It is. In AI-generated answers, sources are often explicitly cited, ideally to back up claims and provide transparency. So being identified as a cited source becomes a primary and, hopefully soon, measurable objective for GEO. This just wasn't a factor we actively optimized for in classic SEO at all. We'll dig into strategies to increase your chances of being cited based on the research.
And finally, metrics. If rankings and clicks aren't the whole story anymore, how do we even measure success with GEO? That sounds tricky.
It is tricky, and new metrics are definitely needed. This is still an evolving area for sure. Beyond traditional rankings and clicks, the ideal is to track how often your content is cited or mentioned by AI systems. Metrics like citation frequency, citation context like is your brand mentioned positively or accurately, or even referral traffic that comes specifically from AI engines become important. Though, honestly, tracking that precisely today is hard.
So we need proxies.
Exactly. We need proxy metrics for now, which we can get into later.
Okay, so this is clearly a whole new ball game, as they say. How do we actually do generative engine optimization? What are the key strategies the sources point to? Where do we start?
Well, it starts with your content strategy, but you need to think with an AI mindset. You need to optimize for natural language and conversational queries.
Like how people actually talk to these assistants.
Precisely. Put yourself in the user's shoes when they're asking Siri or Alexa or typing into ChatGPT. How would they phrase that question? Use tools like Google's People Also Ask boxes, or look at questions on forums like Quora or Reddit to understand how users phrase their inquiries naturally. Long-tail keywords, specific questions, multi-part queries, these are prime opportunities for AI answers.
Okay, think like the user asking a question. And structure.
How you structure your content is also incredibly important for AI readability. Use clear, descriptive headings. Phrasing them as questions is often very effective.
Like the heading is the question, the text is the answer.
Kind of, yeah. Organize your information into modular blocks that fully and comprehensively address subtopics or answer specific questions within a broader piece. Provide direct, factual answers upfront. AI models love clarity and conciseness when pulling information. Formats like lists, bullet points, tables, and FAQs are incredibly helpful because AI can easily parse them and present them clearly in a summary.
Makes sense. Beyond structure, how do we build those trust signals that AI models are explicitly looking for? You mentioned EAT being even more important. How do we show that to an AI?
Right. This is where EET comes back even stronger. AI models are trained to prioritize credible, authoritative sources to avoid, hallucinations. So, first, cite reputable sources within your content. This was a major finding from the research paper.
Citing sources helps the AI trust your content.
Exactly. Referencing research papers, industry reports, studies, established organizations, it adds verifiable context that AI finds useful and trustworthy. That study we looked at showed that simply adding citations led to a significant 115% increase in visibility for content, even from sites that weren't already top-ranked in traditional search.
Wow, 115% just from adding citations. That's huge for smaller sites. It's huge. Second, integrate expert quotes and testimonials. Including quotes from recognized authorities in your field or even customer testimonials adds credibility. It makes your content seem more influential and well-sourced to an AI. Third, add compelling statistics and data. Facts, figures, data points make your content substantive and directly address queries asking for quantifiable information. Displaying stats prominently caters to AI's need for concrete data it can synthesize.
Okay, citations, quotes, data. What else for EET?
Fourth, demonstrate EEAT explicitly. Showcase author credentials and expertise. Link to your company's track record or relevant case studies. Link to other related authoritative content you've created, and crucially, include insights from personal experience. That experience in EET is now explicitly part of Google's updated guidelines, and AI models are learning to pick up on these cues of real-world first-hand knowledge.
So show your work, show your experience. Exactly. And fifth, maintain a genuinely helpful human voice. While you're optimizing for AI, remember AIs are getting better at detecting content written primarily for humans versus low-quality auto-generated text. Focus on providing value and engagement for human readers. Those qualities translate well to AI's preference for high-quality content. And as the research confirmed, traditional SEO tactics like keyword stuffing, they offer little to no improvement for generative engines. Focus on substance.
Substance over stuffing. Got it. What about signals outside the page itself? Do things like brand mentions matter?
Yes, off-page signals still play a role. Brand mentions and citations on reputable third-party sites, industry forums, review platforms, relevant directories, press releases, they can all influence how AI models perceive your brand's reputation and potentially include it when answering queries that involve your business or industry. It builds that broader picture of authority.
So it's about layering credibility signals throughout the content itself and building brand authority across the web. What about the technical side of things? Does classic technical SEO still matter?
Technical foundations are still important, yes, but with a specific GEO focus. Implementing structured data, like schema markup, is really key here.
Schema markup. Can you explain that simply?
Sure. Schema markup, things like FAQ schema for marking up questions and answers, or article schema or product schema, it basically helps AI bots understand the context of your content explicitly. It's like speaking to the AI in its own language, labeling different pieces of information on your page so the AI instantly understands, for example, this specific paragraph is the answer to this specific question, or this number is the product price.
Ah, okay. So it removes ambiguity for the AI.
Exactly. And that can significantly increase the chances of your content being used directly in AI snippets or answers. You should also continue to optimize meta tags, especially titles and descriptions. While the AI might not use them verbatim, they can still influence how your page is represented in AI previews or citations. Ensure your site has a strong technical foundation overall, meaning it's easily crawlable and indexed by search engines, as generative engines often pull from those underlying indexes. Optimizing for featured snippets is also a smart move, as content that appears as a featured snippet is often a strong candidate for being included in an AI answer.
Good tip.
Use proper HTML tags like H1s for headings, P for paragraphs, ULOL for lists clearly, and try to avoid hiding critical text behind scripts or complex tabs, which can make it harder for AI to parse. And finally, maintaining good page experience metrics core web vitals, HTTPS security still matters, as these can indirectly influence your content's visibility by impacting its ranking potential in the underlying search index that GEs might rely on.
Okay, so we've created this amazing, credible, well-structured, technically sound content. How do we make sure the AI actually finds it and considers it? Distribution beyond just our own website seems crucial now.
It absolutely is. You need to strategically distribute and repurpose your content on platforms where AI algorithms are likely to find it, learn from it, and potentially pull information from.
Like where?
Well, consider Q&A platforms like Reddit, Stack Exchange, Quora. AI models are often trained on the vast conversational data found there, or they may pull real-time information from them for certain queries. So participate genuinely where relevant.
Okay.
Explore creating content or participating actively in industry-specific content hubs or wikis. Syndicate or republish your content on platforms like Medium or LinkedIn articles, making sure you attribute the original source link, of course, to maintain that connection back to your site.
Right, point back home.
Create video and audio content. And crucially, provide detailed transcripts. AI can potentially use information extracted from those transcripts.
Transcripts are key for audio-video.
Very key. Use social media not just for engagement, but to share bite-sized, factual insights directly from your longer content. These small pieces can act as sort of breadcrumbs for AI to discover and understand your expertise. And finally, keep an eye on emerging AI platforms or plugin opportunities like ChatGPT plugins that could allow for more direct presence or feeding of your information into these generative systems.
That's a comprehensive approach to distribution. Now, you mentioned research earlier that specifically tested some of these GEO methods. What were the key findings from that study on what actually works best?
Yeah, the research paper you included provides some fascinating practical insights. They tested several specific GEO methods and found some clear winners in terms of increasing content's visibility within generative AI responses. The top performers were relatively simple but powerful, adding cite sources, quotation addition, including quotes from experts or relevant figures, and statistics addition, including relevant data points.
So the credibility signals we talked about.
Exactly. Those three boosted visibility by 30–40% on a key metric they used.
30 to 40% boost just from adding sources, quotes, and data. That really hammers home the credibility angle for AI.
It really does. It seems the AI systems prioritize content that looks well-researched and authoritative. The study also found that stylistic changes mattered. Tactics like fluency optimization, just making it read smoothly and writing in an easy-to-understand language, improved visibility by 15–30%.
So clarity helps too.
Yeah, it suggests that making your content clear and easy for anyone to process, including in an AI, is definitely beneficial.
And what about those traditional SEO tactics like keyword stuffing? Did the study look at that?
It did, and the research confirmed our suspicion. Keyword stuffing offered little to no improvement for generative engines in their tests.
Okay, so definitely don't do that.
Definitely don't.
Oh.
It strongly underscores that GEO is a distinct optimization paradigm focused on different signals. Another interesting finding was that the effectiveness of GEO methods can vary slightly by domain or topic area. For example, an authoritative writing style might be more impactful for content related to debate or history, while cite sources is paramount for factual queries, and statistics addition is especially useful for topics like law or government, where data is key.
So some tailoring might be needed depending on your niche.
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
It suggests domain-specific optimization might become increasingly important.
That study also had a finding about GEO's potential to democratize search visibility, which I found really interesting. Can you explain that a bit?
Yeah, this was one of the most compelling takeaways for me, too. The research indicated that lower-ranked websites, sites that typically struggle to compete with larger domains with massive backlink profiles in traditional SEO.
The smaller players.
Exactly. The smaller players, they can actually benefit significantly more from applying GEO methods than the already top-ranked sites. Adding citations, for example, saw that massive 115% increase in visibility within AI answers for content that was originally ranked around the 5th position in traditional search results.
Wow. So GEO helps the underdog more.
It suggests that, yeah. If you focus on creating high-quality, credible, well-structured content that AI loves, you might be able to leapfrog competitors who rely purely on traditional ranking factors like backlinks. It potentially levels the playing field by prioritizing content merit and trustworthiness over just domain authority or link count.
That's a huge potential shift for creators and smaller businesses, a real opportunity. And did the study say anything about combining these strategies?
Yes. It indicated that combining multiple effective GEO strategies tends to enhance performance further. So it's not necessarily about picking just one tactic, but strategically layering several approaches together, like citing sources A&D, adding stats A&D, using clear language to build a robust GEO profile for your content.
Okay, this landscape is clearly moving incredibly fast. How do we even measure if our GEO efforts are actually working when the metrics are so new and, as you said, hard to track?
Yeah, this is one of the significant challenges highlighted right now. Traditional metrics like rankings and clicks are insufficient on their own, as we've discussed. The ideal, though hard to track directly today, is how often your content is cited or mentioned by AI systems. We need new metrics like citation frequency or analyzing the context of those citations. Is your brand or content being mentioned accurately and positively?
But those metrics aren't widely available yet.
Not easily, no.
Yeah.
So for now, we often have to rely on those proxy metrics we mentioned earlier. Look for increases in branded search volume. If an AI mentions your brand, people might then search for you directly. Monitor for unusual spikes in direct or referral traffic that can't easily be explained by other campaigns. Maybe it's originating from AI engines.
Okay.
Track engagement signals specifically on your GEO-optimized pages. Are people spending more time there? And honestly, a simple but effective method is just asking customers how they heard about you they might actually mention using an AI assistant.
So some detective work required. Are tools emerging to help with this measurement? Anything on the horizon?
Yes, we're starting to see some emerging AI search grading tools that try to analyze your content for AI readiness signals or predict visibility. But crucially, a manual approach is essential right now.
Manual testing.
Absolutely. You need to personally test the AI tools yourself. Go to platforms like ChatGPT, Perplexity.ai, Bing Chat, Google's AI overviews, etc. Ask queries related to your core content topics. See what sources are cited, which in competitors appear, and critically, if your brand or information is being represented accurately. And you have to do this regularly because the AI models and their outputs are changing constantly.
Right. It's not set it and forget it. This is clearly a rapidly evolving space. What other challenges should businesses anticipate in the near future? And what does the road ahead look like for GEO?
Well, GEO is still a new discipline, and it's changing incredibly quickly. AI models are updated frequently. Their knowledge bases can have lags, although real-time retrieval is improving that. And their outputs can still be somewhat unpredictable or inconsistent. Keeping up with those changes is a constant challenge.
So expect ongoing change.
Definitely. Looking ahead, however, I expect GEO to become less of a sort of separate niche discipline and more integrated into standard SEO practices. It'll just be part of optimizing for visibility online. We'll likely see better, more standardized tools and analytics specifically designed for tracking AI visibility and citations.
Okay.
Expect multimodal optimization to become increasingly important, optimizing not just text, but images, videos, audio transcripts so AI can understand and potentially include those elements in its answers. The emphasis on content authenticity, verifiable human authorship, and those robust EET signals is only going to increase, I think, as platforms try to combat misinformation. We also need to stay aware of ethical considerations and any regulatory changes around how AI uses copyrighted content, how it handles data privacy in its training and outputs, and how sources are attributed or not attributed. There might even be opportunities for developing an AI-first content strategy, creating content specifically designed to be easily digestible and trustworthy for AI consumption, or even developing processes for optimizing for AI correction if your brand or information gets misrepresented in an AI output.
Optimizing for correction. Interesting idea. So the key takeaway for the future is really continuous adaptation. Never stop learning and testing.
Absolutely. Treat GEO as an ongoing iterative process. Experiment with different strategies based on the research, your own observations, and industry best practices as they emerge. Measure the results using the tools and proxies available. And be prepared to adapt rapidly based on how the AI landscape evolves and how users actually interact with these new search experiences. Schedule periodic reviews specifically dedicated to your GEO efforts. Don't just lump it in with old SEO reviews.
This has been incredibly insightful, really covering the spectrum from today's personalization power to the future of search discovery. Let's quickly recap the most critical takeaways for you listening.
Okay, first, AI personalization is not optional for online business today. It's pretty much essential for driving customer engagement and delivering significant, measurable boosts in revenue and efficiency in e-commerce. The data from the sources proves it.
Right. And second, the rise of these generative engines means search is fundamentally changing. Users are getting answers directly, pushing down those traditional links. This requires a new approach beyond traditional SEO, that's Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO.
Key GEO strategies involve shifting your content mindset to be AI-centric. That means structuring content for clarity, using natural language, providing direct answers. And it's absolutely vital to build strong authority signals that AIs trust, citing sources, demonstrating expertise, really focusing on EET are paramount.
And don't forget the technical side, like using structured data schema markup to explicitly tell AI what your content is about, ensuring your site is easily crawlable, and strategically distributing your content beyond just your own website onto platforms where AI learns and gathers information.
And while this shift definitely presents challenges, especially with measurement in these early stages, the research shows GEO offers significant opportunities. It really could potentially level the playing field for smaller creators or businesses by emphasizing the content quality and credibility that AI seem to prioritize, perhaps even over traditional link metrics sometimes. Patience, experimentation, and continuous adaptation are absolutely crucial in this rapidly evolving landscape.
This deep dive really makes you reconsider the basic mechanics of being found online, doesn't it? It leaves me with a compelling question for you listening. In this age where AI is increasingly the first stop for answers, how will you ensure that your expertise, your valuable content, or your business is not just findable, but essential and trusted by these new systems? How does this fundamental change in discovery alter your approach to creating and sharing information online?
It's really the core question for anyone operating online right now, isn't it? The digital world isn't just transforming. The very pathways to knowledge are being rebuilt in front of our eyes. Staying visible, staying relevant, means engaging with this new reality head on.